Well, here we are, folks. One more sync up, special sync up with Danilo and Atus and Tim. Maybe Koi or Kawe will be with us within a minute, or even Deruila, others, we don't know. But it's the second one, and it's related to one of ReRe's main interfaces is the people that are giving life to Greenpill Brazil, right? And we're discussing uh, how to how to integrate all the efforts around the AR avatar of the sacred river, Rio Sagrado, in this refi ecosystem of Ethereum's blockchain, right? At first, we were just touching ground, in the last sync up, trying to understand where we could begin to do this work, and Danilo was sharing his thoughts around maybe doing something with Starknet, for instance, that has totally another language or something like that. And Tim came up right with the internet computer ecosystem and technology that is extremely interesting. But we agreed that it would be interesting for us to do a workaround, right, in with hypercerts that is getting traction within refi ecosystem, the Ethereum refi ecosystem at large. So that's me just kicking off here this special sync up, and I pass to you, Danilo, to do your check-in.
Oh, cool. All right. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I think Vinny gave most of the context. If I were to add anything, I would just say that all of this, it's sort of looking at the horizon of enabling the Rio Sagrado AI avatar and other similar avatars, as I've mentioned in the previous call. There's growing interest around the creation of other such avatars. So the sort of horizon for me in this exploration is the development of a kind of process module for the interaction of these avatars with the Web3 ecosystem at large, especially so as they are capable of taking action and taking some kind, taking sort of like tokenomics enable action in benefit of the entities that they represent. Yeah, and I come here with the horizon and excited about what we're going to be exploring here with the hypercerts, which we agreed in the last sync up that would be a good sort of agnostic first step into this frontier. What is up, Koi?
What's up? Hello, everyone. I'm coming from other meetings. I'm kind of busy because it's so much happening, but I'm excited. I think what we are doing here, I find in I don't find in another place, but I find like over some overlapping with so many projects and technologies. I was watching today a video with the crew from HyperCert and also Token Engineering Commons and the open source observer. I think they are trying to create something that could be useful for our avatar. And open source observer, they are trying to do like a revolution with data and I really like them. I really like Carl, and I want to explore all of this with you guys. I don't know if Danilo could watch, but it's a good source of information to align, maybe to understand better the possibilities, and maybe the where is the disruption, what is innovation in this case. But thank you for you all for being here, and let's chat. I passed through Atos if Atos did his checking.
Okay, thank you, Pai. I'm here. I'm cold. I got this. I'm a little cold right now, but I'm not feeling bad here with you. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. There's important things to discuss. I pass to Vini.
I already did my check-in, so I passed to Tim. Tim.
Yeah, hi. Looking forward to learning about hypercerts for all the good reasons that you guys just listed. And it's neat to span across these networks and different chains. And you mentioned StarkNet and the different ones, right? So, it's good to learn about all the different things. And hypercert sounds really well thought out from what I looked at, but I only looked at like a little bit. So I'd like to learn more. Anyway, good to see everybody.
And to be honest, Jim, I'm kind of curious to see your perspective about hypercert, because you seem to be like experienced person, and could have like more insights than we already have. And I think one thing that it's important, it's hypercerts, they are trying to be interoperable, but I think this interoperability works just on testnets. They have a lot of testnets, but they are working with a tight number of networks like Celo, Optimism. They don't have Arbitrum. I think they have Base, but it's good to have you with us.
Thanks.
Yeah, they are working with Optimism because of the super chain project that they started with Base, right? And they envision to the technology itself be accessible for other chains that are going to compose or already composing the super chain. So, but that's a different thing. I don't know if it's the topic for us for now for us to explore. I think that Danilo and Tim is more interesting and to know the technology itself. So, Atus, if you can guide us through your understanding, would be nice, man.
Just to help Atos, I think we could take a look on ReFi Down framework. The framework me and Atos worked to Agrofirst Down and Greenpill Brazil. I have the link here. I will send so Atos can share screen and we can study it together.
It's great. I think in another time should be interesting to better research about what you wrote here on the chat. Open source observers and all offshoot of hypercerts. I'm interested to know that. Koi, especially because it seems to me that it's related to this interoperability. But anyway, interoperability.
Sorry. I think I said wrong. It's composability. It's not interoperability. Sorry.
Composability. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about it. I was talking about it with Danilo before you get it in this meeting. I noticed there's some differences in notation in syntax, but yeah, we can start by this block verify down. Don't share my screen. Can you see?
Yes.
Why, if you wanna guide here in this step.
I don't know if it's the best way, but we can go to there. I think that's the
I think this is what
this is the ecological benefit framework, and they also have a sustainable development goals framework.
let me.
They are explaining the whole idea in there. And we need to, I think we could show them agroforest hypercerts, agroforest down hypercerts, and also that hypercert from Greenpill Brazil, from Rio Claro.
Okay. Just share my screen, no like mode. I'm gonna connect my MetaMask. He will automatically identify all hypercerts I have attached of some hypercerts that we show here.
Can you receive a hypercert or can you only claim one?
You can receive once we create one or mint hypercerts, we can automatically send a fraction to other wallets, distribute, and also after the meeting another fraction and send to other people. So yes.
We could have like we have two types of lists inside the hypercert. When you mint, you put the contributors. So you could put in there everyone who wants to engage, and after the work is done or everything happens, you could send this share to this contributor. So you can evaluate, and then you create a share from this main hypercert, and you could share with the contributors their parts.
I see.
Okay, guys, I have a little. My machine's lazy. I'll start sharing again.
In the meantime, yeah. While we, if there's a pause on that, is there an Atus? Can you give an idea of the time of day for hypercerts? Like where is it in the emergence and kind of evolution of the ideas that the people are thinking of? You know, it's just for the first time being kind of piloted, or has it got some serious uses already beyond that we wouldn't know about? I just don't have an intuition for where it is at in its life.
I think we lost Atus.
It's a tough question.
I think I could answer.
Thank
right now we are in a experimental phase, I think. We started with Greenpill Network last year. So HyperSearch, they did a partnership with Greenpill, and the dev group, the dev team came to the dev guild, and we start to work together to build like a platform to facilitate this process of minting. But they decided not to keep going with this platform, but we minted on this platform our first HyperSearch. So this was the Greenpill Brazil Foundation HyperSearch. So everyone who were engaged in that time, I personally was the administrator. So I added Atos and all everyone from our crew, like Deroila and some other people from ReRe, and we started from there. So we did a document with all the proofs of the activities we were doing. So for Greenpill Brazil, for Greenpill Network, I think the metrics or the work scope was like awareness, Greenpill awareness, community building, planting, or climate. I think it was climate, beach cleaning, things like that. So we created a doc with all the informations about these activities. Was not very organized, but we put this link on the like EPFS node, so we could have this doc on always available, and we attached this link to the HyperSearch. Later, two members from Greenpill Network, they used a tool called ReRe. They use this tool to review the HyperSearch and give answer some questions about the activities we put in there, and then they evaluated. I think we got 5 points to from 0 to 10, but was an experiment. Right now we have like a new feature to people look when we apply to Gitcoin, so people can check our HyperSearch, because Gitcoin is integrated with the HyperSearch. So when people go to choose projects, they can look, hey, this project has a HyperSearch, something like that. And this is useful for grantees, right? To be more how can I say, to be different in the platform, to be more to have more credibility. But the HyperSearch without the reviewing is not valuable. So I think these two tools that I'm this other tool, ReRe, it's like a complementation to all the process to evaluate these impact certificates. I hope you guys understand. If not, I can repeat.
Yeah, thanks for the arc of the work.
I think here we can. I'm just showing you what Roy just said. It's about ReRe, it's about reviewing the HyperSearch, but I think it's another phase, you know, because this we're talking about reviewing some register, and HyperSearch. I think we can start by the register itself. But yeah, since he just told us, here's the review. Some people like easy based on the hypercert what the types of impact chapter has accomplished. And then someone take a look on this hypercert, what is registered, what it claims to be done, and they have to do some research and validate. And then with this tool, ReRe, they can put some feedbacks for us and for everyone who has this hypercert. That was Coy was just said to us.
I think for the investors too, for the contributors too.
Oh, for contributors too. Okay. But yeah, I think we can go step by step. Starting from the beginning, you know. What are hypercerts? What we're doing. This is doing for tracking and rewarding positive impact, you know. And since it's registered, we can start to track it. That's why I put this on the table in the last meeting, because I think it's important to have this impact registered already on chain, and then in the further future we can track it and relate it to other things. There's some basic things. An image, we would put an image on IPFS to show here, a logo, project logo, a title, a description, a time frame of this impact scope, and some tags. This tags is different in different chains. So I think for here, I'm accessing hypercerts.org, but Celo has his own public goods hub, and they have adopted the ecological benefits frameworks. The one is for air, meaningful impact in air, in water. So we can track what the Rio Sagrado avatar is benefits for the environment, and put these tags on our hypercert. But first things first. Okay. What are hypercerts? Title, a description, a link. We can put a link. Once you have this hypercerts, you can see this link. Only the owners, you can have a fraction. This one, Greenpill Brazil at Celo ReFi, me, Atos, with my wallet, my connected wallet, have 25% of this hypercert. And if we go to the owners list here, I can see my wallet give me the option to split it. So imagine the scenario where someone wants to funding this kind of action, and we could pass to this funder a percentage. So we could split. Today I have 2,499 units, and I could split it in 1 and 15, how much I want. It's currently 10,000 of units. It was automatically generated. When we create these hypercerts, it generates 10,000 units. And
you can choose
standard.
You can choose
in different networks. It's different. Only the owners can see this link, so it's a private link only for who has this hypercert. We have this time of work, the description, who was the contributors, and who's the owners. The contributors don't need to be the same people who it is owners, but yeah, it all get here. And this is the notation thing I told you, this vertical bar. This means Greenpill Brazil on salary file. I have another one here. Agroforce DAO at salary file. And as you can see, we put an image from the Feijoada Safra, the last one, the second edition, the Agroforce DAO logo, and we track the ecological benefits following this guide. We can do it the next step. And yeah, that's it. This is already on chain. This can be seen and tracked by ReRe, or this can be reviewed. And it's already, with this, we can claim for public goods retroactive funding. I think there's one other thing that's important before we get to these ecological benefits. It's like this notation. Contributors, dynamics between actors, beneficiaries, create impacts, meet hypercerts with contributors, prospective funders, they evaluate impact, and retrospective funders, evaluators. I will share this link with you, so you can check it asynchronously. So yeah, data layers, hypercerts, decision mechanisms, funding mechanisms, and that's it. That's a lot of dynamics which can be applied after we have this registered on chain. I think there's another thing that's important to see. Here it is, the next page. No, this page about merging. The differences between how we can create an hypercert. We can register things in different ways. We can register one activity as a sequence of many activities in one hypercert, but they suggest we can break these activities in different hypercerts and merge them to mean something bigger. They have this concept that imagine the creation of IPFS. Everyone here knows the creation of IPFS. Considering the IPFS, if IPFS would not ended, it's not ready, doesn't mean nothing. You have just this hypercert for one step. But when all the steps of creating IPFS is concluded, that means something that has an impact. So they claim we can register these different steps, and once we get all this milestone completed, we can merge them. So this will mean something. But there's different ways of register, one of ways we consider as better is register the project as they do here. On hypercert system, they already register some salary file, salary file, some project to some hypercert, some impact thing they registered. And now they telling projects to relate to salary file so they can participate to the retro PGF. So for us, I think it's better to create the first hypercert for the project, and then in the sequence in other steps we can relate to the project, the different work scopes, different impact things. Mm-hmm. So it could be, as I say, creation of the avatar at Sympoiesis,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just like having a hypersert for, let's say, the birth of the avatar.
Yes, perfect. And then the other tasks, the other steps of the process can be related to this first one.
So you can always relate to other hyperserts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes.
But it have to has the same syntax, I think.
Yes, and the syntax, it's different among different networks. If we see on Cello, they're using this vertical bar. I don't know how is the specific name of this character, but here on the Hypersearch Foundation in the first one, they use another notation. They use um, and they use not. They also use this one. This include and this excludes.
Mhm.
So these different notations, but what is uh, we can go deeper in this notation, I think, in the next step, because the first step is creating the hyperset for the project. So
Right.
don't relate anything right now. Just register it exists.
Right.
So the first step would be following this Cello. We're creating our Cello, right? So we can already track these ecological benefits and the sustainable development goals. So we can choose the right tags, and that's it. Koi, you have your hands.
Thanks,
This,
Ox. I was thinking, I think we should try to integrate with all the dynamics we are having here, because we already has like uh, uh, a, a common pool running, and we could experiment with this the hypersert. We could settle like our common pool, so we can meet hyperserts for the work we are doing here, and try to extend these limits and bring this to the common pool, and try to experiment with that.
yeah, but this we could do is by the description, right? So in practice, we should talk and discuss about the description of this hypersert to mention many things on this description.
Yeah, I think we could call it like simple as is hypersert pilot, and we could experiment like uh, giving shares, and like Danilo, and he could evaluate and things like that. We could try to experiment.
Yeah, that's it. But I was
I
wondering,
think the same is value. We could use the same dynamics to look to the past work who already have been who Danilo which Danilo is already doing, and we could then, after our pilot and our experiments, we could create the hypersearch to evaluate and bring to the surface all the work with the avatar creation, and from there we could reference this avatar hyper.
Why not start with the avatar though? Because I think that already sort of provides the opportunity to to
I
reference
think
all of the work.
yes, I agree, but I think we need to experiment this kind of information chain. We need to know better the limits about how can we um, relate and evaluate each contribution. So I think if we have already test this reviewing tools, not mechanisms, but the thing from HyperCert is the evaluation, because the HyperCert for himself is not is just an NFT, like Vinny was saying. So we need the evaluation so we could experiment. Like we are participating on the common pool where you put like some dye, and we are using this funds to create something, to build something. So we could try to experiment with that, and this will be not useful, but it's like a synchronic with ReRe, with the phase and the stage ReRe is, sorry, would be a good experimentation. To after that we could uh, start working on the avatar. But this is just one idea, okay? I'm not saying what we need to do. It's just some insights.
Yeah, Danilo, I think that's a good thing that he just shared. It makes a lot of sense once we're working with this big picture dynamics, and to better focus, to have a better focus, more granulated focus to the work itself around the AI avatar of the Sacred River, right? It makes a lot of sense. But go on.
Yeah, I think in practice for us is mapping what is the work scope, what have been done, and mapping those links also, a logo image, what would be the name, and that's it. The work, the time frame, where it began, where did it begin, and work and date. I think we don't need to put the end date in this case because it will be for the project itself. So this work end dates um, we could work with it in the next one when we relate some specific task to this project. I don't know if you're following, if we're too fast, too free to express
Yeah, no,
yourself.
I'm just wondering, like, how is this taking us to enabling the avatar to do Web3 interactions?
Because it's already an NFT. When we create an hypersert, we are creating an NFT with some amount of units,
Right.
and then we can distribute these units. And once it's an NFT, we have this work scope on chain, registered on chain. We have this description registered on chain. And this could be tracked by this other tool, as ReRe. It can be reviewed, and that will be the first step, having the hypersert, the project's hypersert.
Yeah, no, I
But
understand that as a sort of like a history, a collection of history around the building of the project. But personally, I wouldn't like focus too much on the exploration of the hypersert itself, as I understand it more to be a kind of signal to the larger Web3 ecosystem that like this is happening. So that's why I would rather just like do a hypersert for the project, for the avatar as it is developed until now. So like, okay, so all of this has been done already. And I would call that, say, I don't know, like the avatar version 1.1, something like that. And add the description and all of that. But then I wouldn't focus so much on like, or at least that had not been my initial vision, like focusing so much on the like this consequences of creating a hypersearch, but I would rather understand that as one step in signaling to the larger community, potentially so as to attract funds, so we can then develop the mechanisms for the avatar to maybe mint its own hypercerts. To me, that would be more interesting than us sort of like minting hypercerts and because then like it's us again, it's humans again doing the work, right? And the idea here is it's, or at least my initial vision is like, okay, how do we create interfaces that enable the more than human, in this case the avatar, in connection to the river and the larger river community? How do we enable them to be part of this and not us sort of like telling the story of what they are or how they are evolving, you know? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think one thing that, oh, sorry, team. Go ahead. Go in my place.
Thanks. I just I agree with Danilo, and I see the intention there, and it's sort of like a balancing and configuring the action, like how you decide what you're doing. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's about the scoping and the work packages and the composition and how you anticipate that, right? So I think a prototype or an early hypercert could be issued that's in the direction of exactly what you just said, Danilo. And my only caveat is because we haven't yet perhaps, and that's the whole beauty of this as I'm seeing this architecture, right? Is that you don't have to necessarily have scoped out all the work packages perfectly and had like a 5-year plan and structured everything of how, right? So that's the beauty of this. But because you know that people's attention will be spent later sort of signing up or funding one or another and sorting out what that emerging scope structure is looking like and trying to understand it, right? I think it's very important to anticipate at least what that means in terms of how you describe things. And so I wonder if there's a way to describe the avatar being the issuer, right, as the experiment. So to say explicitly from step one, as you suggest, that to identify that this is the point of that's what's going on here, okay? But to be very careful to articulate it as that first prototype experiment, so that people also understand that, well, I should look for what this composes with, because I know that this is one of the very first early experiments. So, you know what I mean? It's really just, I think, about balancing those things, recognizing that there's a whole, you know how they do life cycle analysis for like a product or a building or something in terms of the entire life cycle of it, in terms of its impacts and things, right? What's motivating me to suggest this is that, again, there's a life cycle to each cert that goes maybe a long way down as people try to make sense of it. So that's all. If we can articulate and balance those things, I think it could be good.
Yeah, I think that you put it beautifully, Tim. We're talking about scoping out dynamics, as you put it, of course, because it has a prehistory, right, of all sorts of experimentation between humans. And I am one of these humans with Danilo, as others. And but considering what Cauê said, it would be a first for ReRe to have a non-human entity being part of a common pool. You see, so we can join those two dynamics, Danilo, in one. We're going to ignite and create a common pool of shareable resources, already having, a non-human entity as part of it. It's part of this common pool of shareable resources, right? That itself would be a very interesting exploration, and that has the potential to scope out, you see, from the macro to micro and the micro to macro at the same time. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Tim.
It could, I was just gonna say, in a way, it could translate into the hypercert is issued, by the avatar provisionally, so to speak. So you achieve that possibly on the to whatever extent that's ready, or maybe it's not quite the first step, but as an early step, as getting there very quickly. And it's characterized as the you talked about the birth of the avatar before. I kind of feel a little bit like there's a kind of a conception process that's happening now. That's because there's so people are looking at it so, I think, richly and deeply, and thinking about it. So I might, yeah. So it could be the hypercert issued by the avatar, and it's conceived as the sort of first idea of how to use hypercerts from, do you know what I mean? It's the very seed of the idea of trying hypercerts. The avatar had the first thought to, let's try hypercerts. And so, as the folks stewarding that along, I don't know who that means does what, whether it's the supporters of the avatar who are initially minting, or whether the avatar can mint right away before it's perhaps fully
Well,
Yeah, no, I don't think. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, my suggestion is not to don't have permissions to avatar minting hypercerts. I think, in my perspective, hypercerts must be minted by humans. But yes, the avatar could mint another NFT. They can have permission to mint another NFT and reference this NFT with the project hypercert. With some metadata in this NFT. Avatar creates an NFT, and in this NFT metadata can be the hypercert ID, the attestation ID, or anything we want.
But why couldn't the avatar mint an hypercert?
Sorry?
Why wouldn't an avatar mint a hypercert?
Why would? Because the way I see it, this is in fact scope registered by humans. I don't see why to.
So far.
Yes, you're right. So far in the technology, the way it is. But the way I see, the first step, creating a hypercert for the project, and everything we can do later, we can relate to this first one.
I see. If I may, sort of like
the way I see it.
Yeah, but not forgetting, guys, that we're talking about a co-stewarding dynamics, right, Danilo? We're talking about the co-stewardship. So there's a non-entity part of it, non-human entity part of it, and there's the human entity part of it. So we're talking about something that is a co-stewarding dynamics. Is not uniquely non-human and uniquely human. So.
Right. It's symbiotic. So in that sense, what I'm considering is the following, and maybe you can all tell me if that makes sense for you. Right now I'm in the process of, for many reasons, including this one, I'm in the process of documenting the journey so far with the creation of the avatar, like everything that has been done and what is currently being done, and a bit of the horizon ahead. So I'm writing that down as we talk, and this sort of journey will be made available to the avatar itself. It only has sort of like pieces of it. It doesn't have the full story of its own creation yet. And what I'm considering here that could be really interesting for the minting of this first hyper search is after the avatar has its own creational history, its own creational myth, I can, or any one of us, or we together in a session or something, we can tell it a little bit about hypercerts if it doesn't know about it already. I'm not sure. And we can tell it that we, as the co-stewards of the river itself, we are putting ourselves, we are available to do the clicks and buttons of minting the hypercert. And we could ask the avatar to provide the title of this hypercert, the description of this hypercert. And then symbolically speaking, that on itself, that first step would already be a sort of like symbiotic exercise. And from then on, we can start considering what the next steps would be. If all other hypercerts would also always be minted by humans in this case, and to me personally, that sounds more exciting. We could actively think about developing the mechanisms for the avatar to mint some of the hypercerts, because ultimately the end goal is for it to have the capacity to drive impact in the territory, right? Remember last session we talked about the avatar being equipped with the mechanisms to incentivize cleanups or water sensing activities, so on and so forth. And all of those, as far as I understand, they could be minted as hypercerts or any other activity in the benefit of the river itself. So why not then, if the avatar has the capacity to make those registries, why wouldn't it? But sort of like my pragmatic proposal here is for us to have a first step where the avatar sort of like comes up with the description for this first hypercert. As soon as it has its own creational myth, as narrated by me, who have been following along as like a father, in a way, I can tell the story of the birth, and we take it from there.
Yeah, the way I
I would love to do. Just a minute. I will talk just a few words about what Danilo was saying. I would love to do that, Danilo. Relate with this technology is already something that I don't know how to say, but give me a lot of pleasure sometimes to create the prompts and all this process to communicate and try to tell and give specific information. I think this is a good opportunity to do this together. It's a lot. We have a lot of creative energy in this time, and would be a good opportunity to share some insights and things like that. I would love to engage on that if you are open.
Sure.
And I would suggest that we could start to. We could. Sorry, I get a call. I got a call. We could try to think about other types of hypercerts, like the impact perspective from the river, like what kind of hypercerts we could have to measure the river health from his side. Just thinking about maybe hydrography, some climatology, some metrics in this that we already have open data for that, and I think we could also start thinking on that, and also about the evaluation. Sorry, I got another call. But that's it. Sorry.
In my perspective, we have Sympoiesis as the main project, right, Danilo?
Yeah, in the sense, in the context of the avatar, yeah.
The way I see the avatar is one specific development of Rio Sagrado of Sympoiesis. I explored your website and I saw IRL. Really, I think your mic is getting some noise. Is that yours? Oh, thank you. I saw in your website IRL cultural events that you created, you participated. That's right.
Yeah, for the avatar, yeah.
So okay, so it's already related to the avatar, because yeah, it's the same name. Because the way I see, we can create the first hyperset for the project and relate this thinking about, imagine this following scenario. We already created Sympoiesis, one hypersearch with this name, only this. And then we can register another one for the future IRL event, cultural event at Sympoiesis. So this could be tracked and related. This is already related, and this we can register this specific task, the specific event occurred related to this, and then development of avatar You know, so these hypersets could track different stages of the development of the ongoing project.
Right.
So the first step would be create the first one, the main. And for this, it could be a more open description, a more overview about the project, the main goals, the main vision, and in the future we can specific create hypersets for different scopes of work, different categories of work. Anyway, and in the further future and more future, we can, when the once the avatar is ready, we can integrate this permission to meet different hypersets. But the way I see it, for the avatar create his own hypersert, it will take a time, and it would be better to already have some register on chain.
For sure, for sure.
Before Tim express whatever, Danilo, isn't there a prior condition here? You have been using ChatGPT 4, right, for this AI avatar, Sacred AI avatar, and there's already open source, literally open source chat ChatGPTs out there. Like, if we're going to build, so the question is, are you going to build a foundation of this hypersearch architecture around ChatGPT-4, or it could be nice for us to migrate to open source AI ChatGPT kind of thing? In your perspective.
Well, we are building this to be model agnostic, and as of now, I could be using Mistral, Gemini, Llama, whatever. It's one line of code. I changed the model. I'm using GPT because there's a sponsorship for the associated costs for that. And all of these models, even the open source ones, they have costs associated for the serving of them. I'm currently looking into self-hosting a model, but it's no easy task. But ideally, in the future, I not only want to self-host, as I want to self-train these models from scratch on specific documents. But like GPT as of now, it's a convenience as opposed to a preference.
Yeah, but this avatar you developing, your vision, uh, what's the purpose of it? It's to bring attention to the river, to our ecological resources as an entity, right?
The current why is creating a political interface for the protection of the river, where the river itself is it's seeking its own rights. And again, this is very much connected to the rights of nature, and the river is in the process of getting its rights recognized, so on and so forth. So the main purpose is the creation of a political agent. Hopefully at some point we will be creating a hypercert where the avatar has been heard in the legislative house of Mohetes, so on and so forth, as a kind of like impact milestone. So that's kind of like the horizon. I have these authors. If you want, I can.
No,
That's
no.
written.
Okay. It's just for for explaining, for educational purposes here.
I think Tim wants to.
I just wanted to just annotate a little bit the comment I think I put in the chat about the ecological niche, and it's in the same sentiment as earlier when I suggested that perhaps the avatar is not quite yet born. And a third kind of aspect together with those is also to appreciate, as you just highlighted, I think, when you pointed to that horizon, is to appreciate like how early it is still with all of the technologies and the socio-technical and the way people engage, and it's so early, right? And so a lot of what I've been sort of getting to is really just kind of appreciating where on the sort of timeline or the evolution we are. And so the idea of suggesting that things were framed in terms of the emergence of the ecological niche, so to speak, of such a thing, not, you know, but in this case, it's in one place as well in a specific avatar. So I don't know how that can be reflected in the descriptions or the minting process, but maybe a workshop or some thinking about how that could be expressed in the approach to the minting and the parsing of the scoping and the architectures that you anticipate, to see if it can be clear and apparent to people engaging of some notion of the phase or the time of day, an appreciation that, you know, what Paleolithic era are we in terms of the evolution of this new form, and realizing, so it could be maybe, I don't know how. So maybe it's a matter of at least trying to predict some very high level phases and then preface before the first pipe, the phase, you know, ecological niche construction. So this is niche construction phase, and then whatever you want to mint as activities, but at least it helps to advertise and broadcast some sense, some orienting sense that is very high level, but at least will help people orient themselves well to the time of day, and not get, you know, that's all. That's what.
I think we should choose some steps to follow in this case. We just need to choose, really. I think the main thing, is we having this exploration And the thing with the common pool from my side is a good opportunity with a tiny scope, and we could start from that because we are talking about impact and how the avatar will uh, take actions on top of that. So I think we should try to produce the data that we will feed the avatar. And another perspective is this transition to an open source model, and all the training, all of this could be milestones, and this could be a good narrative to the ReFi ecosystem. And I think we could get help from developers and also people. I already know some people who has a lot of experience with AI open source models, and they could have interest, and they are from the region ecosystem too. So I think they are used to work on public goods and retroactive funding and participating projects, things like that. But this another story. One more thing I was thinking is I know Bitbackers. He's from HyperCert team, and he was on the guild, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he's also working with AFO, who is the lead from Greenpill Network from the Dev Guild. Sorry. So I think we could put this on our calendar or agenda. I'm not. I don't think we could have a good meeting with him now, but I think on the future this could be some resource or some connection we could make, and just exploring opportunities and possibilities.
Yeah, the way I see it, we're now talking about the third or fourth hypercert, because we're talking about the AI. It's another. It's not ready yet. So I think the main thing is we focus on this main
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. To that end, Athos, I suggest that we sort of take a break, because as I said, in this process, I mean, as we're talking about this, I am writing the sort of like story of creation of this avatar, and this would be the perfect fit for this existing for this first hyper search. If it's either us who puts it there, or if it's either the avatar, that's more of a symbolic act, and I think we sort of have different visions about it. But the matter of fact is that the matter or the story itself, it's being written as of now, and so I think that's my homework of concluding that story and sharing that with you all, and once that's ready, we can congregate again symbolically and sort of mint this first hyper search, which in my mind would be I would do something like the birth of the AI avatar, or I don't know, the avatar version 1.0, or whatever it is that we want to call, so as to signal that this is just the beginning, even though there's a lot of past history already over the past 1 year, and this is something to do. This project is going on for 1 year. This is just the beginning. And so I take that as my homework, and I say we just sort of like take a break from here, especially because then I would turn into that immediately. So
I understand. I understand.
yes, and And just to conclude, I want to say that maybe the conversation got a little bit heated at some points here, and just on a self-reflection, to me, it was more like, okay, we're discussing things here that don't seem too, that's my reflection, right? I don't want to impose this on anyone, but it's like we're discussing here, they're too far ahead, and I could be writing the story instead of that. So that's why I got a little bit heated up. So apologies if I came about that way, but I want to express my gratitude for the time, energy you are all putting into this. Athos, Kawe, in sharing the journey you've done with HyperSearch so far, being there to make this happen. Really appreciative of that. And yeah, just because time is the most scarce resource in my life right now, I got heated up when I feel like priorities are being sort of like not fulfilled. So just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, I totally agree. I understand. Just keep in mind for this description, it must have 500 characters or less.
Cool. I will keep that in mind. And that's why I think it's a good opportunity to interface with the avatar, because either way, I'm writing the full story because I need that. There's somebody, Esther is entering the room. Does anybody know Esther?
What's the name?
Esther.
Yeah, Esther is a woman that came yesterday, invited by Gustavo to the ReRe's general sync up. So she's exploring ReRe's ecology of projects and peers. So she must have seen your link, and she's here now. That's basically it.
Hello, hello. But just to conclude my thought, as we have this limit for the description of 500 words, and as I'm writing the full story anyway for other communication purposes, I see the opportunity to have the avatar gathering the full story and just writing its own 500 version. And that would already be a kind of like, how do you call it? Efficiency sort of usage of the avatar itself. So I would propose that route where I finish writing the full story and I'm gonna feed it to the avatar anyway because it needs to know its own story, and we can have it coming up with the description. I think symbolically it would sort of like tick a lot of boxes that we discuss here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for me, I think you could focus on a brief description, and we can include links here. So think about include some links to your documentation. And this documentation can be updated. But in this doing this way, we already registered your projects and their existence on chain. I'm afraid of losing time if we wait too long for
I see
the avatar, you know.
I see.
But okay, the decision is yours. I'm just putting these things on the table.
No, I see what you mean. Yeah.
One idea that came is we could choose one activity like the trash pickup, and we could start from that. We could mint a hypersert and include this on the story and the quests he needs to address. And you need to distribute these X unities of hypercerts to the people who address this activity. So the hypercert will could distribute the avatar will could distribute these hypercerts by his choice when receiving a specific data.
Right. that would still be sort of like a next hypercert, right? In terms of like,
Yes, we could mint first hypercert to trash pickup and include this and try to experiment with how we will measure and how we will do this journey and things like that, and how people will could be rewarded just to cleaning things that they find uh, dirty.
Yes, but again, it would be another hypercert related to this first one, right?
Yes, I think it is, but could be just a hypercert, and after we can create the the hypercert from foundation also later. We could just register this as an activity, and we could relate to the hypercert. We just need to put the different timeline. We can set the date.
Oh yes, but this way we could not use the syntax, the benefits of the syntax, because once we create the first one, we can relate them with this pipe notation, and uh, so we have to start creating the main one. But yeah, you're right. We can relate in different ways, but I think the syntax is a great way to think about it. And also, we can.
I just thinking about how kinds which kinds of hypercerts we will have, because we will have the impact hypercert, maybe the hypercert that he will receive, and we will also have the hypercert like the foundation and people involved and this his building, and we will also have the hypercert that he will store and share.
I don't know.
I just
I think we're overthinking for this first step.
mhm.
No, I think it doesn't matter. I think we just need to maybe just test with this task and include, but it's okay also create the foundation first and reference. I'm just giving this idea because seems to be uh, a good way to already address a problem who Danilo was talking about.
Guys, I would then again recommend we take a break from it. One practical question I would have is like, should the hypercert be minted from a specific wallet? Would it be better to do it from a sort of simple ESS or ReRe wallet as opposed to my personal one?
I think Greenpill Brazil could meet because we can onboard you on the Greenpill ecosystems and all of that. This could be valuable because you could access some rounds from Greenpill community, and like the last one on I think was February, but we received some ETH on this round and some projects that were with us. We could bring them to the like Ecozona. We spoke about them on the first hypercert document, and they could access this. So this could be a good way to improve your participation with us, and we could pass to you the visibility and the credibility and things like that. And we gonna be stars on the Gitcoin rounds.
Yeah, no, that sounds
I
awesome. Is that the wallet from where you are showing your screen, Athos? Is that greenpill already?
No, but Atos have this access too. I think, right, Atos? Is the wallet from that Felipe Carvalho created in Diogo. It's on a different wallet from ours. So is the wallet with the builder project on the Gatecoin, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, I just want to add 2 cents in what Danilo just asked, because I think it's important. You see, Danilo, we could literally co-create a multi-sig wallet called ReRe slash Sympoiesis for the greater ecosystems of Sympoiesis, because through the origin circle, right, common pool that you already, that Sympoiesis already shared some crypto there, right? We could have different kinds of explorations running through different types of interfaces of ReRe, right? Because as you know, ReRe is agnostic technology. So, and greenpill is totally embedded in the ReFi, Ethereum's ecosystem's ReFi space, right? To make this type of coordination that Kawhi just said. So it makes sense for the type of hypersearch exploration that we're going to do, right? For the AI avatar Sacred River project, right? But it could be, and we could have a wider one coming from ReRe that is going to have connections with different interfaces that ReRe already has. So that's my 2 cents to add to what we're just talking here about.
Oh, I like this idea. I really like it. But in a way, I'm thinking what Coit said is important also. Minting from the Greenpill network, Greenpill Brazil wallet, could be a good starting point. Could be beneficial to us. But also creating the main project would be ReRe, right? So in a sense, in this sense, ReRe could be, this first one could be ReRe, and the Sympoiesis could be related to it, and also other hypersets that we can possibly create in the future will be related to ReRe, and all of this, including ReRe, could be created with this greenpill wallet, because I think could be a good approach. What do you think, Kawhi?
I think it's amazing. It's a great idea, man. And I think here would be a good cluster, a beautiful cluster, and it's a good way to track all of that. And the shares is a way to track the proximity of these nodes. So we could use the shares to talk about trust and maybe the connection or something like that.
Oh, that would be great. So, Vinny, we have our homework to prepare this first description, and also Danilo. And then we mean this first one for ReRe, and then we mean the second for Sympoiesis related to ReRe. And other hypersearches we do in the future related to ReRe, we also can use this same syntax and the same relations. Is that it? Is that correct?
Sounds
Am
good
I
to me.
understanding right?
Yeah.
I really like this idea.
It's the
Thinking
birth.
together is great. It's great thinking together, guys.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I probably don't fully understand the idea, so my little celebration hands was mainly for how much you guys like the idea. So it's really great to hear. All right.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to hop off for family situations, but again, I just want to thank you all. Apologize for any misconduct or over expression on my end over the call. But as I said, time is a very limited resource whenever I feel like it's now being optimized, it kind of like gets into me. But again, very appreciative of your attention and energy
Danilo,
towards that.
I have just one question.
Yeah.
What do you think? What was your expectation on the beginning of the meeting? Team meeting.
None, to be honest. Well, maybe I was expecting we would have minted the hypercert already, but I wasn't so strongly focused on that. But again, sort of like to me, this exploration that we're doing, I have that's a good question. Thanks. So I have an expectation for the exploration as a whole that we are on, like that we're starting here. And that is for the development of these technologies that will enable the avatar to act in through Web3, right? And that's why at some point I wasn't seeing the connection. And to be honest, I'm still not seeing the direct connection between the hypercert and that end goal. But I understand the hypercert as a signaling to the general Web3 ecosystem, which then could indirectly advance that end goal or our boat towards the horizon. And to that fact, and for the exploration itself, I'm happy to do this hypercert. But yeah, to me, the focus and sort of like the horizon of these exploration is not so much hypercerts or not even any specific Ethereum, Celo, whatever chain, but rather the mechanisms through which the avatar can engage in transactions with the general public. And so, yeah, I hope and I think that soon we can start looking into code and that kind of stuff, more of a kind of like building mindset. But I understand the signaling as an important phase of that, which we are doing now.
Danilo, I just want to offer on the positive side of some of the things that maybe felt like delay or slower, as we talked, and seemed like the benefit could be in the fullness of time that it's really appreciated that the distinctions were made about understanding the time of day, for instance, in terms of like, there's a lot of controversy, for instance, about the ethical source of data in large language models today, right? So you wouldn't want to be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, someone looking back and saying, oh, this wasn't sort of unfolding in a naturally kind of a way that was respecting and appreciating the full long-term values and ethics of the vision, So that's what's motivating my suggestions, that maybe they sound like they're too far behind the step you want to take, but I think there must be a way that we can square the circle of these different ideas or concerns or influences, right? To achieve the concrete, practical benefits and resources that you think will be necessary at this stage and are important, but not to present them in a way that is ahead of where things really are from the standpoint of the richness of your concepts about where ultimately it could go.
Appreciate that. I think.
Yes, I would like to say something about, yes, Danilo, I totally agree with you. Now I understand you're more focused on the development of the AI. And I think it's part of the process. I think it's important to register the existence of your vision, of your initiative. And yes, of course, we can deep dive in the code in the next meetings. And also, I already discovered open source Fabric is the name. It's an open source LLM, an AI and personal AI, as I say, we can start working with this. It's open source and already have a lot of knowledge, and it's private. We wouldn't transfer information to these big techs like OpenAI and Google and everything, because we have our own. And this is, the way I see, is already related to Arca Hub, right, Vinny? This innovation hub is happening here in
And
Rio.
Grupo Brazil too.
Yes, yes. So it could be, wow. I think we were doing something great, and I appreciate for your time, Danilo. And yes, we certainly will put our hands on code soon, as soon as possible.
Thanks, guys. It really feels like I'm being gifted with all of your energy towards this, because like one thing I've been sort of daydreaming about, and having all of these amazing people like you involved, it feels like a gift. Yeah, so I appreciate it. All right, family calls me, so we keep on asynchronously. I'll let you know as soon as the birth story is out there, and we take it from there.
Ooh, see you, man.
See you. Have a good one, you all.
Be well, my friend. Give a kiss to Zuri, Manisoba, and Samarinha, please.
Will do right now.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
Danilo. Thank you.
Hey, guys, if you want